be giving us the report of the opening day. So we'll get back to our conversation, and this is all around Tchoukball. The Africa Tchoukball Championships will be hosted in Kenya from the 8th to the 12th of August. And in studio with me on my left, I've got, Ken Miruka, who's President, Tchoukball Kenya. We've got Caroline Nange, who's a coach, and Brian Muchanga, who is a match official, and also he is a coach. And preparations for Team Kenya. Let me start with you, Brian, because one of the things you've got to do, you've got two hats. So if there is one you use as a match official, and then as a referee, then this of coach. Just give us a background that the build-up towards selecting the Kenyan team, which is going to be happening in this coming weekend. Okay,
so what we look at is first of all skill. You have to have the skill, because when you come to the national team, it's we're now dealing with the advanced part of the game, and now changing the formations, teaching you how to maybe, based on what we've seen with the other teams, we now get to teach you how to maybe defend better, score better, use the angles better. The other thing is about communication also. Are you able to communicate? Because Tchoukball is a game that really works on communication. It is very big on communication, because I have to understand, how does Ken play? How do I pass the ball to him? How do we communicate so that the opponent does not also understand our tactics? And then the next thing, the other
Kenyans,
thing is,
you speak Swahili, no one knows what you're saying. Nobody has a clue. No, as I look at Kenya 775 to digress, and you hear them in the huddle. Hapa tafadhali msiachane. Mtu akipata bola kisha unaenda na yeye.
But the Tanzanians and Ugandans, they can understand Kiswahili. Yes.
So you flip to Sheng.
Sheng, you have to use Sheng. Ama lugha nitatumia bora ingiane.
Okay.
Yes.
So the whole communication, and this is where now it comes in, because it's 3 passes, 3 seconds,
yes,
3 steps. So how do you help? How do you get your players to understand this and keep them in mind before they go for, go for the score?
Okay, personally, like as a coach, I insist on utilizing the 3 passes. But if you're able to score, you can score. The other thing is on 3 passes, there's one thing I think we didn't mention. When the ball starts from outside, there's a 0 pass. So there's a 0, and then from there you get 3. So you can either turn the ball to the other side or this other side. And then if you can also change the ball, we call it that there's a 3-way pass and a 4-way pass. So it depends with how you alternate. Yes.
And here's the beauty of it. Each of the frames, you can score there, but 3 in a row, you've got to switch now.
You've got to switch.
So for you, for the women's side, having played for the women's team and played at the world level, what are the things that you've picked up? And because you're also a coach, you want to bring back to the country such that the game grows and rises to the level that everyone wants it to be?
Yeah, when we went to Uganda in 2022, actually we were the youngest team, because we had only been trained for 4 Saturdays, and we went to the championship. And we met countries like Cameroon. They had...
Never new teams have ages based on that. When you said the youngest, I thought average age 22.
Not age-wise.
But it's only that you're trained for very
we had only trained for 4 weekends.
Basically 4 days.
Yeah, 4 Saturdays, actually 4 days, yeah. And we went and we met with teams like Cameroon. They had been together for 13 years. And we learned a lot. And actually we challenged them, because as only training for 4 weekends and winning the silver, it was not a joke. That shows Kenyans, we are always, to the goal. And whatever we touch with our hands, we run with it. So we learned a lot from the likes of Cameroon, the likes of Benin and Tanzanians, and we acquired a lot of skills from them, because it's like we were also in the process of learning the game and going to the championship. So it was not an easy task for us, but we learned a lot from the other countries when we were playing in Uganda.
Now coming to this, Ken, so let's now talk about the process of selecting the Kenyan team for the African Championships. It's happening this weekend. What's the criteria that's going to be used? Because these two are the ones who are going to be observing everyone in the team.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And maybe to add to what Carol was saying, learning Tchoukball is very easy. You can learn in 5 minutes and you're already playing Tchoukball. So that's why it was easy for them to, do 4 trainings and then go for the championship. But we are really going to face serious teams in this African Championship, and they have been training very hard. The defending champions, Benin, we would wish to make sure that the trophy remains here, being the host. And for that reason, we are very deliberate in terms of the quality of athletes we want to put to represent the nation in this championship. As the host, we'll be having 2 team for the men and 2 team for the women. And as a federation, we have...
So that is 48 players in total.
48 players in total, yes. And that gives us an advantage because when we get 48 of the best, there's no way we are going to miss retaining the shield or the cup here in Kenya. And for that reason, because there are so many people that now know Tchoukball and now play Tchoukball, mashinani and even in Nairobi, we, unlike last championship where we picked the best team to represent the country, we want to make sure that we have given fair opportunity to every person to be able to represent the country. So we are doing our selection in 2 steps. The first step is happening at the county level, where the county associations are actually having their own tournaments and selecting the best amongst them to be part of the team. Now these people will come to Nairobi and we'll do the second stage selection, where we have the best from each county in Nairobi.
How many counties are we talking about?
So we are having around, the ones that will field. I'm yet to be advised on how many already done their selections. Yeah, but I am expecting at least 12 to 18 counties to actually bring people because they are very active at the moment. The second stage will be to now select the people that have already been selected at the county level to now make the cut, and that's the criteria that Brian was talking about. We have set up a selection technical committee that is very capable and has representation from each of these counties. And once that's done, then we will get them into a training regimen for at least 1 month, a very serious, consistent training, so that we have a good chances of winning the championship.
Okay. Let me come to Carol. 7 aside, how do you pick out, the 7 players and the roles that you want each one of them to play?
Okay, with Tchoukball, there's no positioning. Everyone can play in any position. The only thing is there are 7 players, so we have the center line player, then the 3 players on one side, the other 3 on the other side. So how we select them is, as Brian was saying, we have to look at how good are they in passing the ball, because you need to pass the ball and that ball should not touch the floor. Yeah. So we need people who are good in throwing and catching skills. We need people who are very fast and they are quick to think. And as Brian was saying, communication. They are able to check which side is our opponent, not very attentive, and then we need to score on that side. So as the president is saying, from the regional levels, then when we get the team, that's when now we'll be able to choose the best of the best from those selected from the county levels.
Brian, and I want to talk about something that, from the video that we have seen, the footage, stock footage that we've seen of, people playing Tchoukball, it's going to be a very big shift from where we play on grass, on dust, maybe on dusty surfaces and that, and now moving to a wooden floor.
Yes.
How do you prepare a player for that transition? Because it changes everything.
Okay, so we are looking at when we go to the camp now, we'll be able not to deal with the selected teams. And then from there, at least things like defending become easy, because you know defending while you're on the sand, it becomes hard, but on the wood now, the dynamics change. What she has said, also in Uganda, I remember we used an artificial turf. And I will tell you, players that were never defending back at home, they defended up to a point I was not imagining, like, is this the person I was training? Because walijituma, if I would say in Kiswahili. Yes.
And what is it that this edge, the edge that you saw them get, the moment they moved on to the artificial surface,
You know,
what's the advantage that it has over grass or dust pitches?
Okay, so what I would say is the edge is the area you're in also determines how you will play. When you see you're playing in a very good pitch, you're very much motivated, psychologically even. Yes.
Well, very interesting. Well, when some others see in some other sports, when they see a surface, first of all, they are in awe of the surface before they even play. Now, the other thing is, President, this is where the numbers and the logistics behind these African championships. What's the planning? How many nations are we looking at? Because you've mentioned that Kenya has got 2 teams, Kenya A, Kenya B, if you were to call them that. And now also in the way that you would like the sport to reach out to people.
Right. So we are anticipating, we sent invitations to 24 African countries. Out of that, 12 have already confirmed. So we are anticipating at least 12 countries, but some may confirm in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We also are anticipating to host this in one place at Kasarani Indoors to make logistics easier, because they have accommodation at the Stadium Hotel there. And we are going to use the indoor arena. There are going to be 2 pitches, and people will do matches there. In terms of logistics, we of course are really constrained at the moment financially. So we are reaching out to partners and sponsors who can support us in this process, and we will have a lot of advertising opportunities for them. We are reaching out to media partners as well, corporate partners, and the government has been very supportive. We hope that they will continue supporting us for that. The dates, we'll be having a number of things happening.
Yeah, you could take us through that.
Yes, so one of the things that we will be doing is a coach and referee seminar. We really want to build capacity not just for Kenyans but in Africa, because as Kenya we are positioning ourselves as the leaders in Africa for Tchoukball. So we want to have as many people as possible to get the international coach training and the international referee training. So these will happen starting on the 8th and on the 9th. And so if there's somebody out there who would like to be a coach for Tchoukball, you are invited to check in our website.
So that will also be happening at Kasarani?
That will also be happening there.
Parallel to the tournament?
Yeah, so it's actually the first 2 days will be these trainings. There's also going to be a safeguarding training for sports. And this involves, because most of the people will be dealing with children, and at the grassroots level, it's important for us to have safeguarding as well in sports, and make people aware of the different issues like doping and the rest in sport. And then the last 2 days will be the tournament proper, which will be happening after an opening ceremony. And then at the end of the tournament, we'll have a closing ceremony and a gala dinner. That's how it will look like. But we'll really want to see that indoor arena filled up. So what we'd like to see, what I'd personally like to see, is that Kasarani indoor arena is full of Kenyans. So I'd want to encourage as many people as possible to show up, be they in schools, be they from mtaani, waje waone Tchoukball at a highly professional level.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this because he's mentioned having 2 courts on within the indoor arena.
Yes.
Just take us through, the size, the dimensions, and how you ensure that the space is optimally utilized at the Kasarani indoor arena.
So basically, I'll start by the frame. Yeah? The frame is 1 meter by 1 meter. And then there is a D. The D is normally 3 meters. But now the outside field goes to, it depends with the number you're playing. But if you're playing 7 aside, it's around 26 by 22. So 26 meters length and then 22 width. Yes, so you can be able, in a basketball court, you can be able to come up with around 2. Yeah.
And so that is where Kasarani now comes in.
Yes.
All right. Duration and how you want these matches to transition quick?
Okay, so normally this game is 3 periods. So 3 periods means 15 minutes each. So basically for 45 minutes, every game will be played. Yeah.
Which is basically 1 hour.
So it will work for the 2 days.
Ah.
Yes.
Now let me come to you, Carol, and let's see the lessons that you've learned and that you would want to see the national team that is going to be playing at the African Championships execute on the court.
The lessons that I've learned is that 1, you have to love the game. 2, you have to be very focused. Then 3, you have to be very dedicated for us to actually win that cup. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Right. President, this is now for you, making sure that this, you mentioned about the counties that are out there, taking it mashinani. I can see that there are 2 things that you basically, 1, 2, 3 things that you'd need for you to start playing the game. You need the frames, you need the ball, and you need whitewash.
And the nets.
Yes, and the nets. So the frame, I consider it as the nets, as the whole.
Yeah.
So what's being done to make sure that these things are affordable, accessible to everyone? Because it looks like it's something anyone can do, anywhere.
Yeah, so the beauty of Tchoukball is that you can play it in many fields. I think you mentioned the indoor wooden surface. You can play it on the beach, you can play it on grass, or even on the dusty ground. All you need is just the 2 pairs of frames and the ball to start with. And it caters for different fitness levels. So one of the constraints why Tchoukball hasn't grown very rapidly as we would have wished is the availability and accessibility of these frames. They are very easy to make. Fundi wa mtaa anaweza kutengeneza the frame, and so we are trying to encourage more fundis to do that. It's made of metal, 1 meter squared. Then there's the net that is really tight, yeah? Kama zile trampoline watu wakiruka wana bounce. So that net is almost 1 meter squared. At the moment we have to import that because we do not have people who make them really well. But we have been engaging net makers, fishermen, to see if we can encourage, especially women groups, to make this. Becomes a source of income to them, but also makes it available for us. Now, the cost of importing these, or 1 full frame set, is around 20,000 Kenya shillings. If you need 2, that's around 40,000 Kenya shillings. So the strategy we are using right now is to encourage people in the mashinani to fundraise. So if a team can, have 40 people each contributing 1,000, they'll be able to actually have the equipment. The equipment is very durable. Once you make that investment, you can play with it for several years, 20, 15, so many years, yeah? We are also talking with TVETs to see if they can produce most of these. Now, in all these, our main challenge, of course, is being able to purchase many of these. So one of the plans that the Federation has put in place is to try and purchase at least 2 pairs per county, which will be floating. And then if a team or a school or a club wants, they can buy from the Federation. And then the Federation will keep 47 pairs of floating equipment to make it really accessible for those people who don't have. And part of this process is to look for partners that can work with us in this journey to make this initial purchase of equipment.
All right. Thank you very much. He's Ken Miruka. He's the president of Tchoukball Kenya. And Kenya is hosting the Africa Tchoukball Championships, Kasarani, 8th to the 12th. So Team Kenya selection, the venue, so that people can watch this, Carol?
Yeah, team selection, we'll be doing it in Embakasi, the administration police, that is in Embakasi. APTC, yeah. That's where we'll be doing it. On Saturday, we are having several teams coming there, so people can join us.
The 29th.
Yes.
So all of them will be there, and so I'm sure you're going to be observing a lot. Give us a good team, and that mid-weekend of August, we shall be doing that. Santeni sana Karen Nange, Brian Muchanga, and also Ken Miruka. Now we take a break as we give you the highlights of the crowning of Gor Mahia FC. They played against Bidco United. A 7-goal thriller, 4-3 it ended in favor of Gor. And then after that, let's talk about Scrabble. Kenya is headed to the World Youth Championships and also the World Championships later this year.